13 vehicles in Ibadan.
Crisis looms in APC over register member consensus arrangement.
And SARS, Oyo Judicial Panel treats 163 petitions on police abuses.
EFCC breaks into Lagos hotel, arrest 30 over fraud.
And a very interesting story which says ad knocks for NAS FG over proposed MPC amendment bill.
3 killed as military officers clash with Lagos traders.
A very sad one on page 27 of Nigerian Tribune. Air Force fighter jets kill 120 bandits in Zamfara forest.
Marketers seriously disagree with Senate on PI-based fuel imports.
So, and on the alleged murder by Chidinma, the representatives, House of Representatives say Chidinma must not die in police custody.
Kaduna bandits slaughter 222, kidnapped 774 in 3 months. Commissioner.
President Buhari says, I'll use all necessary means to end insecurity.
Delta variant, rapid spread fear rises as Nigerians abandon COVID-19 rules.
And lastly, I'll take this from page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Governors meet today on PIB Legislative Judiciary Autonomy Executive Order 10.
APC rebukes factional youth demanding Abdulrazak removal. And on this note, we are going on short break. Please stay tuned.
ètò àdójútó fún ìlera ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àjọṣe wa ni.
ẹ kú ìjọ̀kọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ mi lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin. àǹfààní kan ni mo gbọ́ tí mo ní kí n mú tọ̀ yín wá nípa ètò àdójútó fún ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ṣíà tí wọ́n ní ká lọ forúkọ sílẹ̀ lẹ́nìkọ̀ọ̀kan sí lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ pé a lè ṣàyẹ̀wò ara wa ká sì mọ gba ìtọ́jú àti òògùn lórí àìsàn tó bá ń ṣe ni nínú rẹ̀ ní iṣẹ́ abẹ́wà tó bá jẹ mọ́ $1,650 ní lóṣù $650 ẹgbẹ̀rún méje ní lọ́dún 8,000 àǹfààní wà fún ká san ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́rin $4,000 ká sì máa gba ìwòsàn lóní rẹ̀ butu kódà bá a bá rìnrìn àjò tó fẹ́ rẹra níbi tá a bá lọ tá a sì forúkọ sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọ adójútòfò ìlera ọ̀ṣíà ọ̀fẹ́ lágbàwòsàn nírìn àjò wa àǹfààní yẹn wà fún gbogbo olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ pátá àtàwùsá àti Ìgbò àti Yorùbá ṣe wá rí pé pẹ̀lú owó ìlera wa tó dínkù yìí àti láǹfààní láti ṣe orin bíbí láyé wa a ó mọ ipò tí ìlera wa wà a ó sì mọ gbádùn lọ. mo fara mọ́.
èmi kejì àbáhùn.
lọ forúkọ sílẹ̀ ní oníléeṣẹ́ ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ rẹ àti ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba tó wà lágbègbè rẹ tàbí ilé ìwòsàn aládàáni tí àjọ adójútòfò ìlera ọ̀ṣíà fọwọ́ sí tàbí ní olú iléeṣẹ́ àjọ ọ̀ṣíà ní Ministry of Establishment and Training nínú ọgbà Secretariat ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ni 090-30,530 tàbí 080-57,530. ìlera lọ́rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká pọnmi sílẹ̀ dòǹgbẹ́.
Okay, you're welcome back. May we quickly tell you that you can join us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. We're also on Instagram, www.instagram.com/@Aloore Radio. And you can also download our apps on Google Play Store. And on that note, I'm starting my review with this interesting story which says on page 2, which says alleged mother Chidinma mustn't die in custody, reps tell police. The House of Representatives on Tuesday at the plenary warned the Nigerian police to ensure that Chidinma Ojukwu, who is currently in the police custody over the death of Usifo Ataga, does not die in detention under any circumstances. They also advised the police authorities to conduct a thorough investigation into the mother of Ataga and stop parading Miss Chidinma around to grant interviews on the issue still under investigation. This followed the adoption of a motion moved by Honorable Tolulope Akonde Shadipe, APC Oyo, under matter of urgent public importance at the plenary session presided over by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila. You may read more on the story from page 2 of Nigerian Tribune.
And on page 3 of the Punch newspaper, Nigeria working on central database on criminals, IG. The Inspector General of Police, Baba Usman, has said plans are in place to have a central database for criminals in the country. Usman, who stated this while speaking with journalists during a virtual chat, stated that the database will help in the police to keep a record of criminals throughout the country and help in their investigation. Nigeria is working on a central database for criminals across the country, and efforts are in top gear towards acquiring more tools for policemen to work with, he said, and end of quote. Get the rest of the story on page 3 of the Punch newspaper.
Oyo Judicial Panel treats 163 petitions on police abuses. 8 months after its inauguration by Governor Seyi Makinde, the Oyo State Judiciary Panel of Inquiry on Tuesday held its final public panel sitting on petitions of police brutality and related extrajudicial killings. At the final sitting held at the House of Chiefs, State Secretariat Ibadan, Chairman of the panel, Justice Badejoko Adeniji, retired, disclosed that the panel attended to a total of 163 petitions. You may read more on the story from page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Page 5 of the Punch newspaper. NDLEA bust Kogi, Nazarawa Benue drugs cartel recover 843 kg skunk cocaine. Operators of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency are busted free interstate drugs cartel supplying illicit substance to some states in the north. The agency recovered skunk and cocaine weighing over 843 kg and arrested 7 of the suspected drug kingpin behind the syndicates in separate raids carried out in Kogi, Nazarawa and Benue State. A statement on Tuesday by a spokesperson for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, said in a bid to avert the frequent road interdiction efforts by officers of the Kogi State Command of the agency, a cartel led by one Augustine Emmanuel, 45, opted to move its consignments through the waterways between Edo and Kogi State. Get the rest of the story on page 3 of the Punch newspaper.
And then on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune, I have this very interesting story. Rep member withdraws controversial bill seeking to jail protesters. It's a very controversial story, I must say. The sponsor of the controversial bill seeking a 5-year jail term for protesters, Honorable Emeka Chinedu, on Tuesday withdrew the bill from the House of Representatives. Chinedu announced the formal withdrawal of the bill in a letter read by the Speaker of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, at plenary in Abuja. You may read more of the story on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune.
Page 6 of the Punch newspaper. EFCC break into Lagos hotel, arrest 30 over fraud. No fewer than 30 suspects have been arrested by operators of the Economy and Financial Crime Commission during a raid on Pactonia Hotel in the Lekki area of Lagos State. During the raid on Tuesday, the operators were alleged to have gained entry into the occupancy room by seizing the MasterCard from the management of the hotel at a gunpoint. When the operators gained entry into the room, it was learned that some of the occupants were naked under the duvet as the operatives interrogated the occupants. Get the rest of the gist at page 6 of the Punch newspaper.
Page 3 Nigerian Tribune says INEC commissioners, Senate rejects Onoche, clears 5 others. It's victory for Nigerians, democracy. PDP, CSO, CNG, Lord, Senate. Despite pressures from the presidency, the battle for the confirmation of President Muhammadu Buhari personal assistant on social media, Ms. Loretta Onoche, as National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, turned out to be an anticlimax. There was no need for fireworks on the floor of the Red Chamber as the Senate Committee on INEC, led by Senator Kabiru Gaya, which screened all the 7 nominees whose names were sent by President Buhari, singled out Onoche as ineligible for the office. You may read more of the story on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune.
And on page 8 of the Punch newspaper, Senate passes campaign hate speech bill, offender rates 10 years imprisonment. The Senate on Tuesday passed a bill seeking to establish the Electoral Offence Commission. The red panel prescribed, among others, at least 10 years imprisonment or at least 20 million naira fine or both against any prisoner who uses hate speech to stir up ethnic, religious or racial hatred, social or political insecurity or violence against anyone or group of persons during electioneering. It also prescribed a 20 years jail term or a 40 million naira fine against any candidate or agent who damaged or snatched ballot boxes, ballot papers or election materials before, during and after election without the permission of election officials in charge of the polling station. On page 8 of the Punch newspaper.
And then on page 4, this rather sad story says, panic in Unilag as students in hostels contract COVID-19. Nigeria to receive over 40 million vaccines doses in September. There was fear on Tuesday at the University of Lagos, Unilag, Akoka, as some students of the institution who reside in hostels on campus were reportedly confirmed infected with COVID-19. Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University, Academics and Research, Professor Oluwole Familoni, confirmed the development to Nigerian Tribune on Tuesday night, but said he would not want to comment further as the University Senate would meet today over the matter, after which the management would make its findings and position public. You may read more of the story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And on page 11 of the Punch newspaper found the story, Nigeria ready for state police. Bandits are now formidable. Niger Governor Abubakar Bello of Niger State has said the state police is an ideal whose time has come because Nigeria's population has increased tremendously. The governor said this at the second Shinkavi Intelligence and Security Summit organized by the Umaru Shinkavi Legacy Foundation in Abuja on Tuesday. The summit had its theme, socio-economic implication of kidnapping and banditry in Nigeria. He said, and I quote, "We can't continue to avoid the issue of state police forever, even if it is now. Certainly, it will in the time to come, because Nigerian population has gone beyond 200 million. He said, an end of quote. Get the rest of the story on page 11 of the Punch newspaper.
An alarming story on page 13 of Nigerian Tribune. 14 million Nigerians involved in drug abuse. FCT Director. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has revealed that over 14 million Nigerians, mostly youths, are involved in consumption of illicit drugs, thereby constituting menace to the society. Acting Director of the FCT Youth Development Department and Social Development Secretariat, Adija Umar, disclosed that the administration recently rehabilitated and reintegrated 120 youths as part of the measures to conquer the menace in the territory. You may read more on this sad story from page 13 of Nigerian Tribune.
Stakeholders delivered on UTME 16 years minimum age. Some stakeholders in the education sector included the Nigerian Union of Teachers, All Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Secondary School, and the National Parent Teacher Association of Nigeria, have expressed divergent opinions on a report seeking to peg the age limit for candidates who want to settle the Universal Tertiary Matriculation Examination at 16 years. It was reported on Tuesday that the Senate announced plan to amend the law establishing the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board so as to limit the age of candidates sitting the UTM to 16 years and above. But the rest of the story on page 11 of the Punch newspaper.
Okay, so on the 15th page of Nigerian Tribune, don't push us into declaring Niger Delta Republic. Group 1's Buhari. The leadership of Peace, Development, Security and Humanitarian Rights Association of Niger Delta Association has advised President Muhammad Buhari to desist from pushing the Niger Delta people into declaring a Niger Delta Republic due to failure to meet the various demands of the region. The president of the group, Comrade Mike J.K. Temo, gave the warning in Warri, Delta State, stressing that the need for the President Buhari-led administration to be open to constructive criticisms and recommendations which could truly move Nigeria forward rather than calling the bluff of people clamoring for a better standard of living. You may read more on this story from page 15 of Nigerian Tribune.
Page 17 of today's edition of the Punch newspaper. PIB marketers TUSO disagree with Senate on fuel import. Four marketers and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria on Tuesday expressed their opposition to a provision in the Senate version of the Petroleum Industry Bill that allow only active refinery license holders to import petroleum products into the country. Subsection 8 of Section 370 of the bill says the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority shall apply the backward integration policy in the downstream petroleum sector to encourage investment in local refining. To support this, license to import any product shortfalls shall be assigned only to companies with active local refinery license. Import volume to be allocated between participants based on their respective production in the preceding quarters. It added. Get the rest of the gist on page 17 of the Punch newspaper. Today's edition.
3 injured as 4 laden tanker rams into 13 vehicles in Ibadan. 3 persons on Tuesday sustained serious injuries when a 4 laden tanker lost control and crushed 13 vehicles at Challenge area in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. An eyewitness informed the Nigerian Tribune that the accident occurred at about 7:15 a.m. close to the newly installed traffic lights at Challenge.
On our spot desk this morning, we have second batch of Team Nigeria arrived Japan for Olympic. Page 30 of the Punch newspaper. The second batch of Team Nigeria contingent to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic departed Nigeria on Tuesday for the 10th pre-games training camp in Kizararazo, Japan. The correspondent of the newspaper gathered that the team, which comprises 22 athletes and 20 officials, left the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, aboard an Ethiopian airline flight 12:50 p.m. on Tuesday. Get the rest of the sporting news on page 30 of the Punch newspaper.
Okay, so I'm picking this story on the sports page, which says ex-Nigerian coach Abdulrahman warns the Tigers. Former assistant coach of Nigeria's men basketball team, the Tigers, Mohamed Abdulrahman, has warned the squad not to rest on their oars after pulling historic victories over Argentina and world's best team, USA, in Las Vegas, USA, as part of the pre-Olympics warm-up matches. You may read more of this story on page 31 of the Tribune newspaper.
And at this stage, you shall be saying bye-bye for today's edition of the newspaper review. Till tomorrow, when you meet our colleagues on the desk again, also have a beautiful day. Thank you. I'm Temitope Ojawo.
Okay,
Bye.
we're calling it a day here right now, and we hope you have a blessed day, and we pray you have a blessed a blessed evening too. And on this note, I'll be saying good night and have a blessed time. My name is Aloore Radio. Okay, thanks for listening.
Bye.